geht doch hier rein, ne? Ansehen. Ich muss das erstmal wieder, ne?
This seems to be somewhere that Tejima visited a lot.
Okay.
The soil looks like it's been disturbed.
Okay.
Maybe Tejima buried something precious here. Must be something pretty amazing if it made him
Es könnte auch eine Leiche sein.
It looks like a letter.
Ich war gerade so ein bisschen pessimistischer. Wenn wir,
Village. Sounds so familiar.
wenn wir in diesen Krieg gedrängt werden, warte auf mich im Dorf Konda, wo es ein Zuhause für uns in Frieden geben muss.
Huh. So the reason Tejima came here was to wait for someone. But he's been here for 30 years. Well, let's go give Tejima...
Ja. Naja, wer weiß, vielleicht ist derjenige auch verstorben. Aber dann zu gehen ist ja dann auch nicht das Richtige. Vielleicht, oder wir nach ihm suchen. Das kann auch sein.
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamorian letter belonged to me too.
Ja.
But I have no memory of anything that's written in this diary.
Das ist natürlich nicht so gut, ne?
Still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone here. And that I chose to wait for 30 years.
Yeah.
Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. Anything that I could share with her when we were finally reunited. And just look at all the things that did happen. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love, regret, everything I felt for her. It's all disappeared.
Okay, macht dich das traurig?
After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice, the things we experienced together. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if all these years have been nothing but a hazy dream.
Willst du also immer noch aufbrechen?
I think maybe not. Although, what if she were to turn up eventually? Only to find I didn't remember. When I think about it like that, how curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who she is?
Okay.
Thank you both for... I shall remain here.
Tejima seems to be dealing okay. But still, it makes Paimon really sad.
Tja.
Seems it's just like Ayaka and Toma were saying. If that certainly explains the state. At least we were able to help.
Ja, ich habe doch gesagt, wir sollten helfen.
According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission.
Können wir bestimmt auch schnell hinreisen. Hab ich's doch gewusst. Haben wir noch einiges vor uns, hm? Kommt bestimmt noch. Aber gut, wir machen erstmal die 3 Wünsche, ne? So schnell wie möglich. So. Was es wohl hier wieder mit auf sich hat? So, das soll wohl der Samurai sein.
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma. But why would they take action against one of their own?
Keine Ahnung.
Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand...
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency provisions.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand?
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Notvorräte, meinen Sie die Nahrung?
Huh? And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
What? We just happened to be passing by. We heard the commotion and came...
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps you can help us settle this matter.
Klar.
This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for... In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. He's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it.
No one seems to care about us.
We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but it's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But why would she ever want us to... Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa.
Ja. Er kann sich vielleicht einfach nur nicht mehr an seine Aufgabe erinnern, wie der Typ sich auch nicht mehr.
These emergency provisions.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, would I still be the poor man I am today? My own family can barely get by as it is. No, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to
wir haben gehört, dass
attend
du
to.
dein göttliches Auge verloren hast.
And that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work.
Oh.
Apparently, I'd even disappointed the Raiden
Natürlich
Shogun.
nicht so toll.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt decree. Why would you be unworthy of your vision?
Ja.
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to remember the details.
Ja.
All I know is that I would perform certain things every month. And it's not just that.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency?
I didn't take any. Like I said, to top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders. Which is why, if you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself.
Huh. He seems... But we better confirm. Let's go round up. We should be able to follow their tracks.
Ja. Ja, komm. Achso, wir müssen die gar nicht tracken. Die sind so trackbar. Okay. Ich dachte, wir müssen unsere Elementarkraft einsetzen, die zu suchen. So, hi.
We really outdid ourselves this time.
Yeah.
All those samurai houses packed with goods.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey.
You demand, boss.
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after.
Ja. Moin.
I got you.
Lightning Slash!
Oh, stimmt, wir haben jetzt neue Fähigkeiten. Ich hab grad irgendwie nicht damit gerechnet, aber...
You're open.
Da war ja was. Elektrokräfte sind cool. Ich hab's gewusst. Weil wir die Fähigkeiten haben, dass das alles noch ganz super wird. Zwar dann nur noch die anderen Fähigkeiten und dann sind wir echt super. Aber ich wünschte, wir könnten hier so switchen. Also, dass wir nicht die Fähigkeiten bräuchten so, also zumindest im Menü. Ne? Oder so ein Switch hätten, so einen Tasten drücken würden und dann hätten wir dann die anderen
There goes
Fähigkeiten.
all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know?
Ah, ja.
Come on, boss. Think us.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone like you.
Vergiss es, erzähl uns etwas über Kurosawa.
Kurosawa. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our luck. I knew he shouldn't have hit that place.
So what did you see inside?
Food supplies. You kidding? That place was a complete mess. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal?
You've got a deal. Now
Ja.
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here.
yeah. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods. We better talk to this Miss All. As for you guys, you're free to go.
Genau.
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean we broke...
Shut it.
Ja. Okay, dann reden wir mal mit der Frau. Das kommt mir auch sehr merkwürdig vor. Da muss doch irgendwas hinterstecken. Also er hat auf jeden Fall nicht die ganzen Nahrungsmittel, die gesagt wurden, dass er sie angeblich haben soll. Das ist schon mal klar. Das war mir auch vorher schon bewusst. Also das hätte ich mir schon denken können. Irgendwas ist das, weil die anscheinend ihr eigenes Ich verlieren, wenn die da irgendwie das göttliche Auge verlieren. Anscheinend hängt da viel mehr dran, als man denkt. Also nicht nur die magischen Funktionen, die magischen Kräfte, die man dadurch bekommt, sondern wahrscheinlich auch ein Teil der Seele. Kann ich mir gut vorstellen. Und ja. Das ist alles schwieriger als gedacht. Ich kann verstehen, warum die Frau das, warum wir ihr helfen sollen.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. Or perhaps there's
wegen
something
dieser...
so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take...
Whoa, whoa! Let's not get it. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large... However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer...
So that's how you would... But why did he have to purchase a usual amount?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provision, Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough. So he deemed it necessary to take on...
Okay.
Wow. And no one ever appreciated what he did.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supply, of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency if you're still curious, why don't you go... I see. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name...
Sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you?
Okay.
I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was... In hindsight, I regret that I know... Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll... Oh, but before you go, if...
But we did...
Information is all... Don't worry. I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa.
Okay.
Nothing we ever discussed with...
At least we now know where the emergency provisions are. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again.
Also ich hätte die Schuldscheine ja schon gerne bezahlt, ne? Ich meine, wir haben ja eine Menge Mora. Also es ist ja nicht so, als wenn wir arm wären. Und ich meine, dafür verdienen wir auch das Geld. Und dafür und hier nur wie mal Lebensmittel zu kaufen. Wie viel Mora haben wir eigentlich gerade? Falsches Dings. Nein! Aber bitte wieder, hier. Ach. Sollte ich vielleicht nicht öffnen, während ich gerade unterwegs bin. Check. Das ist nicht der Dings-Rucksack? So, wo sind unsere Mora? Wie viel haben wir? Sehe ich gerade nicht. Ach, da unten. Wir haben 1.927.212 Mora. Also ich glaube schon, dass wir uns das hätten leisten können. Hoffe ich. Glaube ich. Oder sind seine Schulden doch höher? Also wir sind schon nicht arm.
What are you doing here all by yourself?
I presented them with a choice. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
Hier. Genau.
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really...
Strange. Is that... I don't really have any such recollection. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put my... But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that this sword was one... I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade.
Okay.
What did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision... All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore... and said to me...
Hey, if you look carefully, there's... Can you recognize the words?
Da steht Tugend und Gerechtigkeit.
Virtue and just somehow those two words seem to taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased... The Tenryou Commission seized my vision. And the very people... And the irony of all of it is... I'm incapable of being a good person. Yet
another trouble. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah. Seems like losing... Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.
Irgendwie schon. Ja, das hatte ich ja schon ein paar Mal angesprochen. Aber es wäre gut, wenn wir dann seine Schulden damit irgendwie drücken könnten. Ich meine, er will ja auch helfen. Ne? Toma, meine ich. Deswegen hat er uns ja losgeschickt. Okay. Dann wären wir einmal hier.
The third person who had their vision taken is supposed to be a famous sword. Paimon heard that he's the present-day master of make-your... This is his dojo. Luckily, there's some people...
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but he...
Maybe, but... Things have gotten dangerous before in the past, but it's never...
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all. Once the exorcism has taken place...
Hey there!
Hallo?
Who are you?
Wir sind Freunde.
Don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while Sensei is impaired. Don't
Wir
make me
schaden.
draw my blade, or you won't...
No! You got it so wrong. We just came here to...
Wir wollen seine Schüler werden.
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty master of make... But then we got here and overheard you talk...
From the way you're dressed... Please, accept my apologies. We've had so many... You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still recovering. He's not able to take on any new disciples for the time being.
Wir sind nicht ungeduldig, wir können
I
warten.
see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, how about this? My fellow disciple, Sensei's name is Domon. Though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He then proceeded to defeat... He once said that his goal was to become the best sword master in the world.
Zorro?
And so, even while training us, he continued to hone his own art. His fervor truly inspired
den
us.
Schwertstil?
But then...
Okay. Doch dann.
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision taken away.
Das haben wir schon gehört.
He says the strangest things over and over, and he refuses to let us train. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's been possessed. But if I'm honest, I still have my...
The Grand Narukami Shrine.
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the... So don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is going... The exorcism will take place this evening. You're both...
So, losing your vision can cause possession.
Ja, ich glaube nicht, dass er besessen ist. Ich glaube einfach, dass das auch daran liegt, dass er sein göttliches Auge verloren hat und einfach nicht mehr so ist, wie er vorher war. Wir warten dann mal bis 18 Uhr. Genau. Und gucken uns das Ganze mal an. Ja, ich glaube, ich sollte vorher nochmal die Aufnahme, ne? Das habe ich, glaube ich, noch nicht gemacht. Also machen wir das gleich mal. Einmal kurz, ne? Bevor sie sich selber hier, Genau. So, das hätten wir. Dann reden wir mal mit ihm.
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. You would have had to witness Sensei one of his fits of madness. Just now, when Nanako was attending to him, when she asked him who the people were, it looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking frantic. All the while, he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew. Others we didn't recognize. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His senior, in fact. Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. Thankfully, the ritual has now begun. All we can do is... Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water.
Okay. Sollen wir reingehen? Ich glaube nicht, dass er besessen ist. Was? Da ist jemand. Ja. Vielleicht, nein. Nein, vielleicht ist das derjenige, den er besiegt hat und den er die ganze Zeit ruft. Kann das der Typ sein?
Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up?
Okay, dann suchen wir mal weiter. Oh, sind hier wieder Melonen drin? Oh, nein, Aufzeichnung eines Lehrlings.
Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up.
Sind hier auch noch mehr? Oh. Oh, warte, nein. Da oben ist er.
Suspicious person sighted. That's gotta be him.
Hi. Ich will dir nichts Böses tun.
How did you
Du bist alt, wir sind jung,
catch up with
wir
me?
sind schnell.
Are you sure you're Domon's disciples?
Noch nicht.
Unless... I guess it's been a few years.
Excuse me? And what are you doing sneaking around these parts?
Bad news? I'll have you know, I trained side by side. I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you must know, I am Domon's...
His senior?
Anzai.
Ja.
Yes, that's me.
Warum bist du verschwunden?
Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him ever. When we were young, we trained under the same sword master.
Okay.
I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked. Practitioners of Make-Yoshi Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. But Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight to our sensei, scolded him, and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. Sensei said that coveting the I thought so too at the time. But Domon began making... Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since... He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He...
Sure sounds like he meant business. So how come you don't...
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed Of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, I lost not just the match. Later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei, too. Sensei was advanced in years by then. After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, I still... So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, my first reaction was to dismiss them as... I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then, to my complete... So you see, I came here not to cause him any...
Okay.
Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like we got it wrong this time.
Nein, ich hab nicht daneben gelegen.
I
Du.
was not sure we should bring him back with us.
Ja. Nein, also ich habe mir schon gedacht, dass das sein Freund ist und dass er eigentlich gar nichts Böses will. Ne, es ist einfach nur... Er hat ihn ja auch die ganze Zeit gerufen, ne? Also hier, der Meister. Hat ja Ansel die ganze Zeit gerufen und, dass er dann dahin geht, ist doch klar, ne? So, dann wollen wir mal. Moin.
You're saying he isn't possessed? Does that mean he's just lost his mind? But how is that possible?
Nanako, please.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can but spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim. And all is certainly not lost. For I received word not long ago that
Lady Yai?
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine?
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed, and I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit had...
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your timely I must leave now, but we will meet soon at the shrine.
Okay.
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken notice of our
Naja,
Do you
warum
mean
nicht?
to say that Sensei isn't renowned enough to deserve Lady Yai's attention?
Doch, sehe ich genauso.
No, that's not what I meant at all. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maiden. Anyway, you should join, given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our sensei. We, the disciples of...
Ich komme gerne mit.
After all, everyone seems pretty Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to find...
Mhm. Das könnte definitiv ein paar wertvolle Informationen für uns darbieten. Und zum Glück waren wir auch schon da oben. Meine Güte, überall wo wir schon waren. Das ist sehr vorausschauend von mir gewesen, obwohl ich es nicht wusste. Das klingt doch mal nach was, ne? Dann gehen wir mal dahin. So. Ja, da vorne. Ups. Wir müssen dann wahrscheinlich hier einmal rum, genau. Und da sind wir auch schon. Ah, hier sind auch wieder Füchse. Das scheint wohl das Theme von dem zu sein,
Do you think that's Lady Yai? Oh, no wonder Junyo is so excited.
Okay.
She has a really striking presence.
Ja.
Also, is it just Paimon? Or did she look
Jeder
right
guckt
at
uns
us
an.
just now?
Jeder guckt uns an.
It was probably nothing.
Keep away.
Naja.
Keep away from me. I gave up the art of the sword. Please. Let me go.
As you can see, Lady Yai, Domon has persisted in this state for some time now. He appears to see those who have lost...
Lady Yai, it must be a possession, right? This is nothing like him at all. In the past...
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that your sensei is not... Yes. This, unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual... As one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament, it does nothing to prevent... As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his vision.
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yai, even without his ambition, why should he...
Your school practices make you shisui. Stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine notion that would be if any in the... There was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved fellow disciple?
Lady, I'm not sure I...
The path of the sword masters filled with twists and turns. It is no small
braucht
undertaking.
Streben,
It requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands, and only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best made it possible for him to rise above the... When that ambition disappeared, he began to doubt himself. As he... Much like a certain fatally flawed friend.
Poor sensei.
I'm sorry, Father.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Huh? Isn't that Ansai? Did he follow us the whole way here?
Ansai, why are there two of you? Is that you or a ghost? You're here for revenge, aren't you? I knew it would come. I never...
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from kindly. It's been so long now that I made peace with it years ago. You did nothing wrong that day. I just...
Aww.
I couldn't... I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. On the contrary, when you cut our ambitions short, we entrusted them to you. Now I know that we can't place our hopes in you any longer, since you've been stripped of your ambitions too.
Okay.
But that is no reason to strip them of theirs. Follow the way of the sword all the way to the highest peak.
But what if one day, the same thing happens to them? I put everything I had into trying to become the best. But what if it was all a huge mistake right from the... If there's a chance they'll end up like me one day?
Have you asked them what they think?
Yeah.
Sensei, after you rescued me from the hands of the pirates, I told myself I would follow in your footsteps for the rest of my days. I can't know whether I will suffer in my future as you do now. All I know is that here and now, in the present, I wish to continue. I want to keep going until the day that I can stand before everyone with my head held high and announce that I, like my sensei Domon before me...
Nanako's far from the only one.
Goodness.
You see? You can place the ambition you once had in their hand. Being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened to me, so I can't claim to understand it. But I do know what it feels like to have your ambitions crushed. That's what happened on the day that you so effortlessly defeated me. So, just as I once placed my ambitions onto you, you are not in the same position that I was. When I left, I had nothing to my name.
Okay.
I'm sorry to have made you worry for me, and for the state of Miyakyo Shisui art. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. The emptiness and suffering but as your sensei, I shall commit to imparting unto you. This is my promise. And I humbly ask Ansai, my senior, to hold me to my word.
You can count on that. I'd be checking in on you occasionally anyway, just to make sure you hadn't lost your mind again. But I am now used to the life of a wanderer. I do not belong in the dojo anymore, so I will simply stop by once in a while to make sure you aren't cutting any corners with them.
Okay.
Well, don't just stand there staring at me.
Okay. Und jetzt will sie mit uns
Even
reden.
though his ambition was taken away, his disciples can take it over on his behalf.
Ja.
Traveler, a moment, please.
Ja,
Lady
das war
Yai
klar.
has some words for you.
Das war so klar.
So, my intuition was correct.
Okay.
The wind that blows from afar carries fresh life to these shores.
Ja, das bin dann wohl ich.
For us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment.
Das habe ich mir schon gedacht. Bitte nicht wieder eine Internetverbindung, die fehl am Platz ist.
I have high hopes for you, child. Don't disappoint me.
Ich werde niemanden enttäuschen. Ich bin da doch sehr,
Lady Yai seems to have taken a real interest
ich weiß nur
in
nicht,
you.
ob das positiv oder
She
negativ
seems
ist.
super mysterious. I'm so curious what she really meant by all
Das
that.
werden wir noch erfahren.
We can come back to it another time.
Ja. Und wir sollten den Leuten hier definitiv helfen. Wie gesagt, ich war da von vornherein der Meinung, wir sollten denen helfen. Ach, da vorne ist es. Ja, weil dafür sind wir doch immer überall da. Wir helfen den Leuten und erfahren dadurch mehr über uns selbst. So ist es doch die ganze Zeit gelaufen. Es war nie anders. Deswegen verstehe ich nicht, warum sie auf einmal so zurückgehalten ist, den Leuten zu helfen. Das ist doch genau das, was wir tun wollen. Oh, ich muss mal kurz hier rüber.